So far, we've connected the air terminals with the fan coil units, which are the supply and return air systems within the overall 4-pipe fan coil system. Next, we will connect the fan coil units with the plant equipment, the chillers, boilers, and pumps to create the chilled and hot water loops. So we'll create the logical systems for the piping networks in this video. Start by opening the file you used in the previous video or piping systems in the chapter 3 exercise files folder. So at this point, launch Revit, navigate to the exercise files from the chapter 3 folder, open this file piping systems which I have here open, then open the ground floor HVAC plan. The piping network comprises 4 logical systems: a supply and return chilled water system or loop, plus a supply and return hot water system or loop. So before we create the logical systems, let's preset the water flow values for the fan coil unit. So when you select each of these fan coil units, you will see that currently their water flow, which is the chilled water flow and the hot water flow, are currently 0 liter per second. So we need to preset these values, and we'll get the values from the systems report that was generated in chapter 1, specifically the component size and summary section. So open the systems analysis report. Then from the table of contents here, go to the component sizing summary. So from here you can see the 4-pipe fan coil for each zone, and you can see the hot water flow and the cold water flow. So these are the values that we need to fill in into each of the fan coil units. So we'll need to quickly do that. So we will tie the two views, go to the view ribbon and click tile views. Now we need to quickly transfer these values to the fan coil systems. So for each zone you can see the water flow and cold water flow. So we'll start with the guest. So when you click on the fan coil system here, you go to the parameter here and fill in the value. So if you look at this, you see that this is currently in meter cube per second, but what we need is liter per second. So we just use the last 3 values because this has to multiply by 1000. So quickly do that for cold water, which is the chilled water flow. This is 0.088. For hot water, 0.050. Then we'll move to anti. This is 0.084 and 0.055. For living, is 0.233 and 0.140. For the service water, this is 0.094 and 0.051. For the kitchen, this is 0.092 and 0.063. Now we'll move to the first floor and quickly do that as well. So for bedroom 2, as you can see here, this is 0.071 and 0.033. For the master bedroom, this is 0.101 and 0.047. For the stair lobby, this is 0.190 and 0.063. For the lounge, this is 0.043 and 0.021. For bedroom 3, this is 0.079 and 0.029. And finally for bedroom 4, This is 0.097 and 0.038. So now we need to begin creating the logical systems for all the zones. So to do that, right click on one of the fan core units and select all instances in the entire project. Then click piping from the create systems panel under modify ribbon, and this launches the create piping system dialog, which prompts you to specify the system. So for a start, we want to create the chilled water loop. So we select chilled water supply for the system, and because we have only one chilled water supply for this project, we'll just name it chilled water supply for clarity. Then we'll check open in system editor and click OK to close the dialog. Now, since we have two connectors and these units have the same system classification, hydronic supply, Revit will prompt you to choose one through this select connector dialog. So remember, in the family, we've already put some description. This is where it comes in. It helps you to know the right connector to choose. So now, for each of these, we want to select the chilled water supply, the one without description. So now I have to do this for the 11 fan core units. So I have to keep clicking this to go around all the fan core units in the project. And after that, you'll be taken into the edit piping system mode. So next, we need to select the equipment. So we'll click select equipment and then pick one of the scroll chillers on the ground floor. So let's say we'll pick this one. Now the second chiller is on standby, so we need to add it to the system. So to do that, we'll click the add to system button and we'll add the standby chiller. And then after that, we will click finish editing system. So now we've created the chilled water supply system or loop. So next we'll create the chilled water return. So just like for supply, you right click on one of the fan core units again and select all instances in the entire project and click piping again from create systems panel. This time you need to set the system type to chilled water return, and then you name this chilled water return as well for clarity, and then check open in system editor and click OK. Again, you need to choose the right connector so you can see chilled water return from here. So you need to repeat the same, click that 11 times until you are taken into the edit piping system mode. So for the return system, the duty pump, one of these pump is duty, the other two standby for the chilled water return. This is for hot water return. Now the duty pump sucks the fluid and returns it to the chiller. So we'll have to set that as the system equipment. But for a start, we'll add everything, all this mechanical equipment to the system. So we'll use this add to system button to add all the pumps and the chillers. So now, because inside this pump, it has two connectors with system classification global, or it has system classification is global, so meaning it can function in both supply and return. So this allows us to pick the right connector as well. So now we need to select, this is a return system, so the fluid returns from the fan core unit into the pump. So that means the flow direction is in. So we need to pick the right one for each of the pumps that will add to the system. This is also in, and the same for this one. Then as well, we need to add the two chillers, add to the system, and then finally finish editing system. Now when we launch the system browser, we will inspect what we just created. So from here you can see now I have two piping system. When you expand this, you see the chilled water supply, chilled water return. Under chilled water supply, you can see that the scroll chiller is the equipment for the zone, and then you have all these items under it. For the return, however, when you expand this, you see that there's no equipment just yet. So what I'll do, I'll select this to select the system, and then I'll now use select equipment here to pick one of these as the equipment for the zone. So now you can see that this base mount pump is the equipment for this system. So next we need to create the hot water supply loop. So just like we did for these other ones, we'll right click on one of these, select all instances in the entire project, and then click on piping once again. Now we'll pick, for system type, we'll choose hot water supply, and we'll name this hot water supply, and then check open in system editor and click OK. So you notice there's no prompt to specify the connector this time, and that's because there is only one unused connector with system classification hydronic supply left, so we don't need to specify which of them since you have only one left. So now we need to also select equipment, so we'll click on select equipment. This time around we'll pick one of the boilers as the mechanical equipment, right? So we'll pick this one, and then we'll use add to system to add the standby, which is this one. So when you're done doing that, you click finish editing system. So now we've created the hot water supply. So finally we need to create the hot water return. So to do that, the same process, you right click on one of these fan core units, select all instances in the entire project, always confirm that you have 11 items selected, then click piping. This time you choose hot water return, and you call this hot water return. Now if you notice, there's nothing like hot water supply left because we've used all the connectors for that system classification in this selected equipment. It's only return that is left, so it can either be chilled or hot because they use the same system classification. So now you click open, and then you click OK once again. So just like we did before, use the add to system to add the pumps. This time around it's still the same flow direction, which is in, even though it's hot water this time, not chilled water, but it's still the same connector. So we'll choose that for the tray pumps, and then we'll add this as well, and then we'll finish. Then just like we did before, we'll add the mechanical equipment. So we'll come here, we'll select the system, and then we'll select equipment, and we'll pick one of these pumps as the mechanical equipment. So that's it. We have logically established the piping system for our project. You can inspect the system browser here and make sure that everything is appropriately done, and then that is it. We've created a logical system. So in the following video, we'll physically connect these pieces of equipment with pipes.